just sort of chill, listen to the Harris Heller music. I just want to say hi to everybody. Just getting the stream started. Quick PSA. If you are looking, I'm getting over a cold, by the way. I actually have my voice back. I can't believe it. But even this morning, I was like hacking up a lung. But so hopefully this goes well. But there's not a ton of news this week. Some interesting stuff happened. Let me know if the music is overpowering or if my voice is peaking or anything. But the PS5 Pro launched this week. No joke. I thought for sure the PlayStation 5, I keep calling it the PS4 Pro. I thought for sure the PS5 Pro would sell out. It did not. I can still get it right now. I was like telling my colleagues, we were discussing it internally because, you know, we're trying to secure consoles like everybody else. And yeah, you can just get it. Boop. Add it to my cart. Oh yeah, Chrome is weird. You can add it to your cart, but you have to open it on Firefox. Or do incognito. Is the music too loud? Reduce it more. We're just going to kind of chill for a little bit, let people get in. I usually like to do whatever for like 5 minutes, but I was really excited to stream today, so I just hit that go live button. Let me do it over on Chrome just to show you I'm not fudging the numbers. I saw people posting, it's sold out. It is not sold out. You can still buy it today. Like, this thing's going to be readily available for some time. So PlayStation somehow managed to make a bunch of people mad this week. I'm going to open up, and I just want to talk about Ghosts of Yotei. I think it's Yotei or Yotei. Everybody's all up in arms about that. I am so freaking hyped for that game. No, they didn't restock. I've checked this multiple times a day. There is no indication that it's ever sold out. Ghosts of Yotei looks freaking awesome. I like the trailer so much. Basically, after that state of play, I started doing research about Japan in around 1600 and Tokugawa Ieyasu and what happened with him. So basically, there was this big battle or war or whatever you want to call it in 1600, and you know, there was the East and the West, and they kind of ended up fighting together, and some people defected to his side, and like they kind of went nuts at that time period. So a lot of people ended up, I can't find a historical documentation that everybody fled to Hokkaido, which was known as Etso during that time period. But what happened was everybody went up there, and I'm putting together a video for IGN. I am getting some hopefully second verification of the translations on the text, but for the most part it's fine. Yeah, it's just people mostly. Clay. So Clay said it's because of the protagonist. There was this very famous character that was portrayed in the show Shogun named... the character is based off of Odo, I want to say her name was. Where is it? It's like Onogatsu or something like that. I can't remember the name. But anyway, they were these basically women in feudal Japan times. They were trained in using weapons and such because they would their husbands would go off to war, right? And they would have to defend their house and their kids and stuff. It makes sense. Like, I would want my wife trained if that was the situation I was in, right? So during that time, they knew how to use stuff. They used mostly the naginata based on what I've researched. And all of this is just off the top of my head, okay? Xbox is king. Just shut up. You're an idiot. I swear, like, seriously, you're just being so stupid. So this game is really, really cool. There's a ton of details if you actually know what you're talking about and you're not just some guy in chat screaming at the clouds. In this instance, I think you're wrong. I think you're so wrong. If you knew what happened in 1600 Japan and you took the time to actually do research about what was going on there, then yeah. Well, they would defend against bandits. So Man Cave, to answer your question, what would they defend against? There were a lot of bandits at the time. They were called Wako, and they would raid villages, or Ronin who were, you know, out from the losing clans, they would probably come in and do this. It's war, man. So like they're basically at war. Yeah, I mean, like, it's fine if you have a criticism, but you're just being stupid. You're just, I don't mean to be that divisive, but like, you look you look really foolish screaming about Ghosts of Yotei. I've spent all weekend doing research. Everybody who has reacted to the trailer who has done research has been very positive about everything within the trailer. The main controversy is that there were some social media posts from the voice actress. That's the controversy. I'm going to say it right now. I don't give a shit what the voice actress posted on Twitter. I don't care. So I think the game looks absolutely phenomenal. And I'm really, really excited about it. So let me tell you a little bit more about it. And I'm doing notes. I'm working on a larger IGN piece. Really, really excited about this. Basically, well, the reason it bothers me, Ni 55, is because I've done my research about this time period, and everything they have showed is incredibly thoughtful and thought-provoking. And the only conversation people want to have is that person tweeted some stuff I don't like. It's stupid. I just think my opinion is it's just absolutely ridiculous. And I've seen some people just like sort of lament on this current state. And it's like, when you're a hammer, everything is a nail. And I think this is just a huge mess. Like, I get there's a thing going on right now in the industry where people are all riled up online about, it feels like everything. I'm super fatigued by it, you guys. But this trailer was cool. Let's watch the trailer really quick. I didn't want to get too far into it, you know. Let me see here. I want to find the Ghost of Yotei trailer. And yeah, I mean, you can go search it and you can go see the types of content that's out there. Everybody's going crazy about the stuff people are saying, but I think you're off the mark on this one, right? I think you're just off the mark on this one. Separately, I did start reading Thomas Lockley's book. His preface, I was just laughing because it says it's based on a true story, and there's stuff. It's like no. It says the true events of, or something like that. Like the way he phrased it. If he said it was based off of the story, I think it would have been fine. It's like a fun read. But the fact that he says it's like a historical representation of what happened, and he has all this flavor text in it, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to kind of go along for the ride. It's going to be like a popcorn thing, and I'm going to enjoy his book and read it, right? No, I got it at the library, man. Yotei, not Yotei. Yotei. Thank you, Man Cave. Yeah, I think it's Yotei, not Yotei. Yotei. Anyway, I'm working on a more official rewind. I've had a Japanese friend who lives in Japan translate I think it's kanji, or there's different text in Japan. It's like hiragana, katakana, I want to say. Anyway, I don't know. My friend who's to Japan had it fixed. So here, this trailer is just oozes cool appeal to me. Let's just watch it quick. I gotta kill the Harris Heller. Kana and kanji, but this is older, so I don't know if the text was different then. Let's give it a watch. I'm just too excited to not talk about this. I have to get the script approved and everything at IGN, but I'm going to have a more official version of this. So here we see this river. Obviously, there's a mountain. Now, I actually don't think that's Yotei. I think that might be... So the Yotei mountain is known as the female mountain from the Ainu people. I'm going to explain in a second. And there was a second mountain, which is known as another mountain. And it was called... mountain. I gotta Google mountain in my crazy person knows. Because there were two. There's another mountain that's known as the male mountain. And I think this is actually the Shirabetsu mountain, which is basically right beside Yotei. And you can kind of see, if you Google pictures of the mountain, it's really, really cool. visually. So like they picked a great spot. They picked a great spot not only visually, but there is so much history going on in the 1600s in this time period. I just want to express just how freaking cool this is that Sucker Punch has done this. Do you have Japanese journalists you can podcast? I've reached out to some Japanese journalists to help me with the script and make sure I didn't get anything wrong. Yeah, so I'm doing my due diligence. So take everything I'm going to say as a grain of salt right now, because I'm just kind of doing this for fun. And I'm so excited about the game. I just want to talk about it. You know, I don't want to wait. But so this is just my height meter. Yeah, so I think this is, if there's any Japanese people in chat, Shirabetsu, but also known as the male mountain, and then there was the female mountain, which is Yotei. And then this right here, you know, we see this diamond icon over here on the right. I believe that is, I can get the specific clan name, crest. I can't remember if they're crests or clans. I think this might be the Takeda clan. The Takeda clan kind of fell out of favor. A lot of people, did I link to it? Either meshed in with Lord Toranaga or not. Yeah, so Takeda clan, right? It was a diamond. And these are called, it's different in Japanese. I apologize if I say Chinese, because I did study a little Chinese at any point. Yeah, so I think this might be like the video game representation of the Takeda clan, the idea of them falling out of favor, and some people getting folded into Lord, I believe it was Toranaga at the time, who was made shogun. So just giving you a little bit of context, there was this big battle that happened in the 1600s. It was Skigahara. So the Skigahara battle happened in the 1600s. Toranaga won. And then what happened is he was made shogunate, which is, I think that's like the ruler of all of Japan. Yeah, and there's history tied in with Korea and Japan here also, because, you know, China was like, they had raiders coming into Japan, and Japanese pirates, woku, were going into China. It was a lot of kind of a mess back then. Where was I? Yeah, so okay. So Toranaga, 1600, there's this big battle. He wins. All the other leaders basically either have to fall under him, or he executed one of them like a few months later. By 1603, he's shogunate. He's made shogunate of all of Japan. And the show Shogun is also goes into detail about what happened during this time period a little bit. By 1603, he wants to get rid of Ronin, get rid of pirates. And I think that's the premise that this game is going into, right? So they're fleeing to Hokkaido. Hokkaido, let me bring up a map of Japan. Japan map. So at the time, you might know Sapporo beer. It's near there. So basically, I think the last game took place in this little part, and the new game is taking place in this part. But mainly the island we're looking at is like kind of here. The mountains sort of over here, right? Okay. So for the most part, Toranaga, he's sort of based here by what's known as Tokyo today. And everybody else is like, we got to get the hell out of here, because he's like killing our leaders and stuff. So anybody who would have been fleeing, and I've only seen one reference from the History Channel that referenced that people were being hunted down. So they wanted to get rid of the pirates, which were known as the Woku. They were like, we don't want this anymore. Any Ronin or anybody who fell out of favor, they were like, we don't want these people anymore. And these people are, at least Sucker Punch's interpretation of history is that they're going to flee to this region of Hokkaido, right? Now, the thing about Hokkaido, which is really interesting, is there was this group of people known. Oh, sorry. So this is Hokkaido. And so basically like the pirates, the Woku were like going over here and stealing stuff. The Japanese, they're fighting down here. Russia's a little bit of a worry for here. So Toranaga's like, hey, we need a station up there. Really. We need a station up here. And they build a base sort of here. Now, the problem is there's this indigenous group of people called the Ainu who lived in this space at the time. And the Ainu is indigenous to this area. They have some very interesting characteristics. They do like tattooing. I believe the women would tattoo themselves as far as I could know. And all of this is sort of talked about in the trailer. So anyway, maybe I'll come back to it in a second. We'll get to that in a second. But a little bit of a history lesson. So to recap, 1600, big war. Toranaga wins. 1603, he's like, all right, we want peace. 1603. Get the pirates out of here. Get the Ronin and everybody out of here. Go away. They go to Hokkaido, at least by Sucker Punch's interpretation. And anybody who fell out of favor, they're being murdered. So, yeah.
We are beyond the edge of Japan.
So that quote, we are beyond the edge of Japan, probably makes a little bit more sense to you right now. Hokkaido, this whole region, it's not even considered part of Japan. There are historical documentation that I found on like Encyclopedia Britannica or something like that, where the shogunate basically said, yeah, that's not even Japan right now. So at some point after 1603, they want to make this part of Japan. The Ainu people are there. There's some stuff that happens with the Ainu by like 1660. The Ainu have a huge fight with the Matsume clan. It's just such a cool point in history for Japan. So all these people who are like flacking on it, I'm just like, man, if you just knew, if I could just tell you about this history, you might actually really, really like it because it's really, really fun. Yeah. Okay. Now that is Yotei. That is the Yotei mountain. There's some interesting stuff actually in this shot. You can see there's like buildings here and stuff like that. Now the Ainu people did have buildings and structures there, but obviously Sucker Punch makes, I've heard it referred to as cheeseburger westerns, and I think that's what they're going for here. So we'll just kind of go here.
People come.
Oh, Man Cave brings up a great point. So I was going to talk about that later. So we have no animal scenes. We do have animal scenes, and I'm going to tell you about that in a second. And then I'll talk about Ainu and their relationships with bears. So yeah.
North.
What am I flip-flopping on? I am not flip-flopping on this game. I am all in Ghosts of Yotei. Fuck yes. Sucker Punch knocked it out of the frickin' park with this trailer, at least. I can't wait to play it. I'm so hyped. No, there's no flip-flopping here. Oh, we're starting. I know the title of this stream, by the way, is this is the good stuff that PlayStation did. We're going to get to the not so great stuff a little bit later. But this one, no. I'm 100% with Sucker Punch on this. They knocked it out of the park. People come north to disappear. So the premise they're laying out is like people are running away here to get away from the shogunate. I think that's the premise they're going with. And I love that. I love that.
But you are hunting.
Okay, before we get to that. So we see the wolf, right? You might just think, oh yeah, wolves, whatever. Check this out. This wolf is extinct. This is the Etzel wolf, also known as, and you might know this name, the Okami wolf. They were seen as gods, both to the Ainu people and in Japanese culture. I believe they were seen as basically representative of life and death, and they were actually seen as able to ward off evil, basically. So the thematic idea of using a wolf on her hilt and the wolf in this scene is so good. It's so good. Well, I went off on you because you don't know what I'm telling you right now, Xbox. And I think you might change your tune once you see it, because I think you're way off base with it, dude. I do wonder if this was a clan symbol or like the video game clan symbol on his jacket here, but I couldn't find anything that did anything there.
Oh, every Ronin here is after you.
Okay, I've had this translated. Basically, the translations you've probably seen already are accurate. Now, they read from the right to the left, right? So it's like wanted over here on the right. It says wanted. I'm going to guess, I don't remember the order specifically, but it's like 28 or 29 years old. Now, if you Google translate it, it says like 8 or 9 years old, but they're missing some of the kanji or whatever. And then it says, I have it here. One second. Okay. There are rumors that she was witnessed on Mount Yotazan. We have 100 Ryo rewards for this woman's head. So she's wanted. Whatever she did, she pissed somebody off. And 100 Ryo, I was trying to understand the currency of the time, was like a pound of silver. So this is very, a very, very valuable reward for whoever gets her head, right? So she's made the right people mad. Also note that this is a snake hilt. We'll come to that in a second. Oh, Aries, 10 gifted subs. Thank you, man. So the snake hilt, we're going to get to in a second because she has a list of names she carries around with her. And yeah. Guess which one she's about to cross off. I'm willing to bet you it's the snake one. Okay. So anyway, reward, snake, kill snake. Snake! Metal Gear.
Still think you're the hunter?
Now this guy seems like he's still gonna put up a fight, but like, he's got nothing. Okay, let's get into this. Love this shot, first of all. Now, in the blog post, Sucker Punch did a little talk about this. They confirmed that this is the ghost mask. Now, Jin Sakai, I believe was his name in the original game, he also had a ghost mask. And if you look here, they use the repair technique known as kintsugi. Apologies if I get any of these Japanese terms wrong. I didn't practice how to say them. Now, I've looked at Jin's mask. I was like, is there any way that this mask would have been Jin's mask and repaired or something? Now, the nose structure is pretty similar to what Jin's mask was, but it's white and Jin's mask was black. There's no mask that I could find in Ghost of Tsushima. And I've only played a little bit of Ghost of Tsushima, enough to know that, okay, I get it. It's good. Yeah. So what they would do is if a mask was broken, they would use lacquer mixed with gold to repair it. And we can see she's used lacquer mixed with gold to repair it. Now, I don't know if that's significant, but there's this website titled Beauty in the Broken. And I cannot think of a better way to describe what kintsugi is trying to convey with this broken mask. So something has happened to this character and the mask is telling a deeper story than we realize. I don't think I've seen anybody mention that yet. And I've watched a ton of the reactions, which sort of sent me down this rabbit hole because it got me super hyped. And this is the I can't remember the name of it. I don't want to get it wrong. Instrument. It's going to replace the flute, I think. Sugaru shamisen, the shamisen. That is the instrument. We'll get to that in just a second. Did you guys just want to watch the trailer? Do you like this nerding out stuff, or do you want to just watch it? All right, We get another look at the mask. I don't think it's Jin's mask. I think that would be an incredibly cool way to tie the legacy of Jin to this character somehow. Like maybe this was passed down for generations, but just so you know, it takes place like 300 years after the events that Jin was involved with. So yeah. Just God, it looks really good. It looks really good. I actually didn't think to look up anything about her wardrobe, but I mean, maybe I should. I'm going to talk about this in a second. Yeah, his mask was black. That's what I said. I said like the nose shape lines up, but the mouth shape doesn't. His mask was black. This one's white. They've utilized the kintsugi. I think that's the term. Repair. Yeah, kintsugi is the name. And this hilt is two wolves. There's a wolf here and a wolf here. Now, I did a little research about wolves. There is this idea of two wolves, and yin and yang and things like that. But it's another play on the wolf motif that we see throughout the trailer, because we have the Etzo wolf, or the Hokkaido wolf, which is now extinct, also shown in the trailer several times. A lot of people have also pointed out that her nails are very nice, indicating that, okay, maybe she was a geisha. Like the instrument, the shamisen, was also played by geisha during that time period. So I'm thinking there's a potential that maybe she uses subterfuge to track her enemies. And I think that's a compelling gameplay mechanic if they have decided to go that route. They didn't make a mistake in a single shot of this trailer. Nothing is on accident. I think every one of these little details, like the horse, I haven't really thought about the horse very much, but like the horse is big. I saw some people say. Let's continue on. Yeah, like Sucker Punch doesn't make a mistake, you guys. Like they're clearly showing off her nails. They want us to notice that her nails are cleaner than you might expect for somebody who just committed murder, you know. And we hear the shamisen particularly. So this, I've actually gone through and again, independently verified the translation of this. Let me bring up my notes for the proper IGN video we're doing later. I haven't had anybody to talk to about this. Like at work, I don't think they get it either. I'm like, look, I'm so hyped for this game. I just want to talk about this trailer. I'll do it on my own. Anyway, it says demon, fox, dragon, spider, snake, and I believe the last word is Saito, which is a my friend said it's a family name. The family name has different kanjis, and she thinks it's the first one. So she thinks it's the first kanji of the family name, which is kind of interesting, right? If you Google that family name, I don't know. So I just Googled what my friend wrote. She said this is the family name of that last character that we can't quite make out. I'm going to play it slower and see if I can get a better shot really quick. Even my wife is like, what are you doing? Are you still writing that script? So yeah, we got that. Man. Yeah, and the reason I went off on Xbox, by the way, is because like he just came in hating on it right away. I'm like, bro, you don't know what you're talking about. This game is hype. This game is so freaking hype. So this I think it's kanji. I apologize if I get any of this wrong. My friend is thinking it might be this one, but who knows? Their symbol is a flower or a wave. Again, it's all in Japanese. I don't know what the hell this says. Yeah, let's keep going. Nothing really notable here in the shot except for the list of names. And she has snake crossed off because she just killed them. So obviously these are code names for bad guys that you're going to hunt down in the game, which is such a cool concept. Let's go. Shooting star, nice touch. And here we go. Absolutely beautiful setting. Now, they did say that this game is going to be built from the ground up for the PlayStation 5. And if this is an in-game shot, I could buy that. Now, the whole trailer is at 30 frames. At least the version that I'm watching right now. It doesn't designate if it's 4K 30 or 60, but the one I have, it was 30. So, yeah. And I think that's pretty apparent given the visual look of it. But I don't know if that's how they chose to export the file. And I do think they would add a 60 FPS option. Might be tied to a family. Kyle says, I don't understand why some people are upset about the protagonist change. Literal title doesn't say Ghost of Tsushima 2. Yeah, man. Well, the actress tweeted some stuff that people are mad about. And like I said at the top of the stream, I don't give a shit what she tweeted. The game looks hype. I don't care. I don't care what most people tweet, right? Like, who cares? I think we're all so invested with tweets. Come on. It does get a little ridiculous sometimes. Anyway. That's my personal take. You're entitled to think whatever you want. Gaming and reactions. It's good to know you're hyped for this game. Let's game, man. Hell yeah, gaming and reactions. Agree with you. Got to put you down. I got to put the other guy down. I told you guys, for better or for worse, I'm never going to lie to you. I'm always going to tell you the truth, even to my own detriment. And in this instance, I am blinded by hype. I don't put a lot of stock in what actors tweet. Sorry. Great scene. Like, showing the... Oh, I just noticed something actually here. So we got this little flying creature. And you remember in the first game, I watched somebody do a Let's Play of it. Apparently there were these little birds. There were little birds you could find and go find secrets. I wonder... And I haven't done all my research about the animals, but I know there is an owl animal in this region. I wonder if these are owls, which is a notable character type for the Ainu that you could follow. And this over here looks like it could be a hot spring. I watched Shonto or whatever, who was really excited about the hot springs and his react. And yeah, I watched like 20 react videos. But after like the first 3, everybody was just kind of saying the same stuff. So I just, at that point, I had the key terms. And then I started doing research about the time period and sort of going from there. And yeah. Anyway, some structures here. There's a structure over here. And now this is a pagoda. I believe they're called pagodas. But it was like a Buddhist temple, a place for worship. I wonder how they're going to build that into the mechanic. Also, there's some stuff where like I'm just not going to mention it because historically I can't find any documentation that it was a thing. I don't think these existed in the Hokkaido region. So I think this is an example of Sucker Punch taking some liberties. Like, why in 1603 would there be a pagoda in Hokkaido where Japan isn't really, the music is hype, where Japan isn't really based yet? Like, they didn't really get a foothold. They didn't even bring peace to Japan until like 1616, I want to say. And then they had the war with the Ainu people in 1663. So not, when I say war, back then they were called battles. But yeah. God, it looks so pretty. Yeah, and that Shoto, the Shoto guy kept freaking out about these plumes of air or whatever. This is a castle. Again, a structure like that was not in Hokkaido at this point, but I think this is a smart move. This is where like Sucker Punch is taking a few liberties. What's interesting is there's an actual castle that was built around 1606 for the, I want to say it was the Matsume clan. The Matsume were the people, the Matsume people were the ones who had settled here. And basically their operation was to figure out how to like make peace with the Ainu people. We all know how that always goes. And basically take over the lands because they need the resources of the lands. And that's why they end up going to war, right? Um, and I think this is a representation of what that castle is, but it wasn't built. The only account I could ever find, they always say 1606. Game takes place in 1603. So maybe she delays construction by a few years. So yeah. Now, a lot of people said, yeah, all this looks normal. They're eating Japanese rice here or something, like they're having a meal. These are like Ronin and Waku or bandits, probably. They're just chilling, eating lunch. It's interesting. This guy has a shamisen, is just jamming out there. I wonder what that's about. But to me, when I started looking at this design, it reminds me of an Ainu like house. Let me see. So here, I'm just gonna Google search this over here. So these are like the Ainu structures. In modern day, you can still go see like this. They have a museum sort of up in Hokkaido, and then they kind of had a structure like this, and you can see the lacquerware down here and how they had constructed their buildings. But I also don't know much about like Japan. But when you start looking into it, I'm like, this could just be an Ainu setting, which I think would be a somewhat interesting way to take it. But again, I think that's where Sucker Punch is going to take a liberty and just be like, look, it's an eating establishment in the big town in Hokkaido, or Etso at the time. Nothing really notable here besides the fact that that's real pretty. Okay, can anybody in chat tell me, is this like a graveyard? So I think this is a graveyard, but I don't know. And I don't know what to Google in Japanese to establish what this location is. I think it's a graveyard. I think those were how they did tombstones back in the day. I don't see any Japanese on it. And this one is obviously a notable shrine of some sort. It looks like the Tsushima graveyards. Okay. I wonder why that's significant. Some people who played more Tsushima than I did are talking about how these duels were like a thing. So it seems like they're coming back. This shot really has me interested. What's really interesting here is we see this icon up here. And I think that is the Toranaga clan icon. Let me see if I can find it. I spelled it Toranaga family crest. Japan. Okay. So real quick, you see this logo here, Tokugawa, not Toranaga. I think I'm mixing up the show and this game. Anyway, so Tokugawa has this pedal, and if you look at this, it looks like it's a little bit different, but I think it's sort of inspired by that. I know I misspoke gaming. I misspoke. I meant Tokugawa, not Toranaga. Yeah, he's dead, right? Anyway. Oh, yeah. Quick note here. So at this time, there's not really any... Is she wearing a mask? Yeah. Okay. At this time, there's not really war, so they got super into really making kick-ass masks and headpieces and everything like that. I do know that this one represents wave, like a wave, but yeah, their headdresses are super cool. Anyway, we're going to see later that whatever this interpretation happens to be of Tokugawa's family crest or some other family crest, every time she's showing up in a fight, that crest is there. So I think she was sent by Tokugawa or somebody else to mess with these people. Anybody messing with these locations that belong to Tokugawa, they're like, you're an enforcer, go kick their ass. And There were, like I established earlier, there were women who would fight. There's most women were trained in the Nagasen around this time, but there are some. I'm trying to find the name of the famous. There's one that's like the most famous. Onna-musha. Tomei Gozen. Tomei Gozen is one of the most well documented from a different time period. What is it again? Onna-musha of the time period. I'm losing my voice. See. So there's plenty of depictions of this character. She's been popularized in person. Sorry, I forget. We're talking about a video game, but this person actually existed. And yeah, so this is an actual warrior who existed around that time. Very well documented. I like this one more from Wikipedia. It's from 1182. So this person existed in 1182 and seems like a badass based on everything that we've read about her. I'm just losing my voice again. It's either I'm fine or I'm dying. Nin, thank you. Sucker Punch might do a dive into social media as part of the hiring process. No, dude, I don't think so. I think they're probably just like, are you the right fit for this role? Yeah, all right, you're hired. I don't care about any of that, honestly. Like, that's not my fight. Sorry, guys. That was gross. Sorry. All right. So, Tomei Gozen was a notable character, but if you watch Shogun, there was actually somebody who I wrote down that I think that this character will be based off of, and that is, what was her name? It's like Oto Dono or something like that. Give me a second. I want to find the name because this character was really interesting. I can't find it. If gaming knows the name off the top of my head, it was like Ono. All of these names are very new to me, so I'm not 100%. Oh yeah, she's. You know what? Onna-musha. So if we go to the Onna-musha page, she's mentioned in the Onna-musha page during the Edo period. Yeah, so in the Edo period, they talk about. Yeah, here's another depiction of a, female warrior or an Onna-musha warrior, which is really cool. Where is her name? It's like, did anybody say it yet? It was like, dang it. Yodo Dono was her name. Yodo Dono. Sorry, I really wanted to get this one right. Yodo Dono was who I was trying to look up. So this character was also portrayed in the show Shogun, and I do wonder if they're going to use her as a template, because if you remember Shogun, or if you actually read about Yodo Dono, she was with Toyotomi Hideyori. That was, or she had her son, and her husband was Toyotomi Hideyoshi. Now, Hideyoshi died in 1598 or something like that. Yeah, 1598. So she has this kid who is kind of a threat to everybody, right? And she's like, well, what do we do? What happened was she took the position of a Buddhist nun and took on the name Kain, and would go on to found a temple, Yogin Inn. And we do see that Buddhist, like it's nowhere near Hokkaido, but we do see that Buddhist temple up there. And I'm wondering if they're like, oh, you know what? There's not a lot of stuff documented about after 1598. They just said that, oh, the turmoil was really hard on her. She got really depressed, you know, because like, imagine you have like this, your son who's supposed to be the Lord, and everybody kind of wants to do their own thing. So yeah. Yeah. Edo period started in 1603. 1598, like the war hasn't happened yet. 1600, the war happens, or the Battle of Sekigahara. And then 1603, Tokugawa is made shogunate, and he's like, all right, get rid of all the Ronin and everything. We're going to have a bunch of years of peace. There'll be a few more battles or wars during that time period. Anyway, sorry. So I think she's going to be based off of that character, and I think they're going to utilize her time as a nun to like actually do all this covert stuff where she extracts revenge. There's the wolf again. We've already established that the wolf is extinct. Now, I saw some people being critical of the two sword style, and I'm pretty sure this is a katana. These are not two katanas, I don't think. I think that it's the wakahashi dual wielding. And there was a guy who actually had popularized this style. So it's not like a crazy thing. It actually existed during that time period. It was called Netten Ichi, and it was popularized by Miyamoto Musashi. And if you Google Miyamoto Musashi, like there's a ton of, like, I mean, basically it's 1-to-1 of Miyamoto. It looks exactly like what the guy did in this statue, right? And yeah, he did the two blade style. There's even this famous illustration of him using the two blades against whoever that other dude is. Now, Miyamoto, he lived from 1584 until 1645. So he's around. He's around right around that time region. Well, Tavria said that Tome Gozen may be a real person. There's doubts to her existence. There's no doubts, though, that women were trained to defend their houses. Like, nobody argues that. Nobody stipulates that. Also, nobody argues the idea that women fought in battle next to men. Now, that was only used in times of desperation, but those things happen. So those are historically accurate things that took place during this time period. Now, the one point that I think Sucker Punch is taking a little bit of a liberty with is the fact that people are fleeing the Hokkaido. That's something that I don't see a lot of evidence for. At least I haven't been able to find. No, they would. Do you want me to, so like, look, I've been talking for like an hour, nerding out about history. I have Thundera. Do you really think I'm just making shit up? Like, you don't think I did nothing but read about this for like 2 weeks? Or like since the trailer came out? It's all I've been doing, man. Yeah, they would. There's artistic depictions of that happening. So like, I don't know why there's pushback against history. Why? That's weird. What were they called? They were called Onna-musha. There's evidence for most of what Destin said today, at least so far as history goes. Yeah, thanks. Like, guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. If I said this, okay, there's evidence for all the stuff that I'm talking about today. Here's what there's not evidence for: the bullshit in Thomas Lockley's book. So I started reading Thomas Lockley's book, and literally the first 4 pages, I'm just like, this is complete BS. There's no way. So, oh my God, if you let me, I'll go get it. I'll be right back. I'm going to go get Thomas Lockley's book. It's sitting on the dryer. I'll be right back. Okay. Yeah. I even checked out a book. So this made me curious about his. Sorry. Yeah. So I even got the book. So this is the Thomas Lockley book. And I'm like, okay. I checked out a book by Thomas Lockley, and there was another author who I hadn't seen mentioned in relation to Assassin's Creed Shadows, but like this Ghost of Yotei thing got me super excited about, how the history of, what's his name? Yasuke. And here's the thing about Lockley. On the cover of his book, it says, "The true story of Yasuke, a legendary black warrior in feudal Japan." Okay, let's read the paragraph, the preface that he says happened, that he has historical documentation to back up. Yasuke smiled grimly. Fear was a much needed ally this night. This would be the last mission for his lord. The cloth bundle, cinched at his hip, sat heavily against Yasuke's upper thigh as if urging him onward. Moments before, he had vowed to carry Nobunaga's mortal remains to his lord's heir. And he'd not journeyed halfway across the world to break such vows. The three soldiers remained spellbound, unable to move. Even words failed them. "Yasuke de Gozaru," the African samurai challenged, stepping forward into attack position. "I am Yasuke." Now, I'll give Thomas Lockley this. It's a badass story. The problem is there's no fucking way that happened. There's no way. Who would have written that? So to preface the scene that he's talking about, he's in a burning building. He lost track of where he was. He came out of a bunch of smoke, and he encountered three samurai warriors, right? And they were like, "Oh shit, like what are we going to do against this samurai?" And I think this book is going to be cool. I think this is going to be an interesting book. The problem, I laughed out loud when I read the preface, because the cover of the book says "The True Story," not based on a true story. It says "The True Story." And I've seen the actual text. Posted about like what was actually documented about the person at the time. And there's some stuff in there. That's cool. But there is no way that this is based off of something somebody wrote. Right? No, I got this at the library, and I'm going to read it. I'm going to read more of it anyway. It's a little bit better in chapter 1. I'll give Thomas Lockley that. So, and Yasuke did exist. Yasuke did exist in Japan. He was a person. He existed. He did serve with Lord Oronaba, the O name. And they were kind of like, they hadn't really seen people from Africa before. So they were like, "Whoa, what is this? This is cool." Nobunaga, thank you. So like all that stuff happened. Yeah. And I think, honestly, I do think Yasuke is a great character to utilize in Assassin's Creed Shadows. I think he's a really cool, compelling character. I don't think they've handled it with what's the right way to say it? I don't think they've handled the interpretation of the character very well. I do think it's based off Thomas Lockley's book. That's fine, but whatever. Ghost of Yotei, however, I think they've knocked it out of the freaking park. Everything I've talked about for the last hour has been great. Anyway, yeah. I want to talk about this scene for a second. I've not seen a single other person mention this. Now, I've talked about the Ainu people, right? Yeah, and like, just to talk about that, Susanoo for a second. Sorry if I'm saying your name incorrectly. I am fine with Assassin's Creed Shadows using Yasuke and having fun with that time period. They've done that many times. And I believe it's Nawe is his companion. And I'm sort of curious about it. But when I see how much other stuff they've gotten wrong, it's frustrating that they didn't take the time or the attention to detail the way that it feels like Sucker Punch has in this first reveal trailer, right? Like it's respectful. They're using a time period specific instrument. Everything about the time period seems to be accurately represented, and then you can kind of sort of have fun with it beyond that, which is really cool. Well, like they have like pagodas in there. Like pagodas did not exist, but they kind of get a pass because we know what they've done with Ghost of Tsushima. And what's unfortunate with Shadows is it comes off a little strange because they've gotten other stuff wrong. Like I've seen criticisms about how they have the rice laid out because there's no way to drain the rice. So anyway, it's obviously a complicated topic and I don't want to really get into the weeds on it, but I will say this, Thomas Lockley's book, there's no way there was a documentation of any kind of this preface, of the preface part of his book. The chapter 1, I think he's getting more historically accurate because we know that the Jesuits would document their days and they would document what was on their ships. But like he adds a little bit of a floweriness to it. Right. Yeah. So anyway, talking about this game though, and why I'm really excited for it. So I think this, and we're going to go to the other perspective really quick. You notice what she's wearing here. I haven't seen anybody else talk about this. This to me, this looks like a bearskin cloak. I'm telling you, I think that's a bearskin cloak. Right? King, you're going to have to go, dude. I can't all talk like that. Okay, so this looks like a bearskin cloak to me. And the reason that's notable is because the Ainu people worshipped bears. Now, I'm basing this off of what I've read. Okay? We'll give you the benefit of the doubt on that one. Don't let it happen again, King. I'm not joking. I don't F around with that stuff. Anyway. The bearskin cloak would be notable. Now, does anybody else think that might be a bearskin cloak? Just look at the cloak for a second. I think it's a bearskin cloak. And that's what I'm going to say. It's big. It looks like a bearskin cloak. Now, the Ainu people worship bears. I'm going to paraphrase what I've learned about the Ainu people and their relationship with bears. It is a fur of some sort, yes. So, they believed that bears were gods trapped in a mortal body. So, what they would do is they would take bear cubs from their parents and they would raise them like they were their own children, right? For about 2 years, and the bear would get pretty big, notable size, like somewhat big. And they would feed them and they would lure them to a new area. And then the Ainu people would slit their throat and drink their blood in a ritual where they believed that they were sending the bear back to the heavens or to God, right? And I think there was some documentation that they did this with wolves also, so maybe it could be a wolf, but yeah. You're gone, King. Bye. I'm done. Not going to argue with you. Whatever, dude. Were there ever women samurai? Yes. But, well, I don't know about samurai, but there were female warriors or women warriors of that time that would fight in battles and such. So, yeah. Most women, and you even saw this in the Shogun show, they were trained with the naginata. So, like, almost every woman who was married, I think, they were trained in defending their house. They needed to be able to step up if like a Ronin, I believe is like a wandering clanless person, or a pirate, the Woku at the time. So like, yeah, they knew how to fight. And there's lots of imagery depicted of that. But anyway, so yeah, getting back to this for a second. Yeah. Samurai is a problematic term at the time as it wasn't really a term used. Yeah, so that's another issue, right? Like that wasn't, it's an interesting phrase of words. Were there women who could fight? Yeah, and there were some badasses in like 1200. There's one well-documented badass. There's a whole Wikipedia page you can go read about how women were trained, and they were referred to as onogama, I want to say. Is that what it was? Onogama? Anyway, yeah. So, I think it's a bearskin cloak. I think she has some sort of relationship with the Ainu people. And I think that she is on a quest for vengeance of some sort. Now, I don't know if something happened to the Ainu of the region. I also don't know why she is going to every location where there is a Lord Tokugawa emblem or whatever that icon is supposed to be. Every time somebody's there messing with it, she goes and kills them. So I want to know what's up with that. Gaming reactions. Keep doing your thing, Destin. Take care, man. Ghost of Yotei. Hell yeah. Thank you, gaming. $50. Holy crap. Thank you. Thank you, gaming. Yeah, for what it's worth, I'm still going to play Assassin's Creed in February. Assassin's Creed is either going to be like so historically inaccurate it's hilarious, or they will actually manage to get some cool historically accurate stuff in there. Regardless, I'm kind of in it for the ride at that point. There's been so much controversy about that game, and like some of it, like I think the Thomas Lockley criticism is somewhat valid, but I also think people have gone a little nuts with how hard they are being on the game, for lack of a better term. But yeah, I'm going to play it. I'm just going to play it and come to my own conclusion once the game is out, you know? Cool character, cool premise. I'm very excited. Yeah, and it is interesting that this family crest gets slashed at the end here. Oh, okay. Yeah, so this part I have to play it a little slower. Because boom, look at this dude. That is a beefy guy. So he has the wave helmet on. That was representative of water or a wave. He's using the flame technique from the original game. It's absolutely, oh, Ginger Prime, thank you for the 8-month membership. Yeah, cool stuff. And that is I have the name of the sword, but it's like this huge sword they would use to basically like mow down horses. That is a big guy. So this is the Kaji. Oh God. I apologize to anybody from Japan who watches this and I get the names wrong. It kind of, let me find it. So the two weapons are katana and wakizashi. The gun she has is the arquebus Tanegashima rifle. And this thing was called a kusaragama. They are all time period correct. So all of these weapons were things. Odashi. Thank you, chat. Thank you for the note, hunters. Yeah, the odashi. I do wonder if we're going to be able to get that odashi or not. But yeah. And this one is cool because, look, there's that symbol again. Can I zoom in? Can't like zoom in. Can I do it on here? Give me 1 second. The pistol did not exist. The Takashima rifle, though, was all over the place by this time. Yeah, so this is a lot of people pointed out to get a little more specific. They believe it's the arquebus, which was a flintlock match system of being able to fire these rifles. So yeah, I'm super hyped for this game. They got so much right with like the historically accurate details that they get that pass. They get that opportunity to sort of have fun within that wheelhouse. And you know, I think it's so unfortunate to see the dialogue about this game right now, because I think it's misguided or uninformed, honestly. And I don't mean to sound like an elitist dick or anything when I say that. I just, having read about it, I'm so excited. I am so excited about Ghost of Yotei. And having learned just so much. I struggle with Game of Thrones due to the lackluster NPCs and the poorly written side visuals. And the combat were top notch. This has me on the fence for Game of the Year. Oh, really? Oh, for Ghost of Yotei? What, the story? This has everything I just talked about for like, how long have I been streaming? An hour? All I did was learn out about this for an hour. I think it's really cool stuff. Thank you, Double. Yeah, I'm definitely blinded by my hype on this one. I'm not gonna worry about what one person tweeted. I don't care. I do not care. Yeah, and there's a house here that's like burnt down. These look like Ainu homes, or their interpretation of what an Ainu home would look like. Yeah. Yeah, super hype. Super hype. Just wait. Watch a stream or something like that. Like if you're on the fence about this one, just wait till it comes out. Watch some streams and then make your decision. You don't have to buy stuff on day one. I'm pre-ordering. This trailer, so good. Such a good trailer. I'm so excited. We have some other updates though. Sorry about me nerding out about that trailer for just a second. I'll report back next week when I read through a few chapters of Thomas Lockley's book, The True Story of Yasuke. Why? You know what? He even has like a whole, like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is more historically accurate than I thought. Because he has an index. He has all this other stuff back here. I'm like, what in the world? What was your reference for that preface? I just wish. And he's like gone. He deleted everything. Wait. On his map, he has Tokugawa listed. That, at the time Yasuke was in Japan, wasn't it not Tokugawa? Tokugawa didn't own Tokyo, right? Am I crazy? I know we have a few history buffs in chat. That's not correct, is it? Or maybe I'm not right. Maybe I'm fishing. Because Tokugawa didn't even change his name until like 1600. Anyway, I'd have to read more about that one. Maybe the region was called Tokugawa. I don't know enough about Japan. Yeah, I saw it, Kino. But anyway, there's some other news to talk about. Jason Schreier, who we just had on Unlock this week. It was a pretty fun interview. I've read about half his book. I've talked about it a few times on chat. It's very good so far. I got to get back to it. But he spilled some tea about the current goings at Xbox.
Saying like Xbox is such a mess right now that like who knows what I feel like their plan is changing every single year. So like right now they're talking about teasing handheld over and over again, but like who knows? They were also like a year ago they were saying Indiana Jones is never coming to PlayStation. So like
they did say that.
Yeah, that's true.
They change their minds every month and they're just a disaster over there. They have no plan whatsoever. It's really sad.
You want to go to...
Oh, he's just giving his personal opinion. I thought that was like insider news. No, Noble, who I follow about Xbox stuff, Jason's basically just saying, I don't know what's going on. Tokugawa had territory and fought for Nobunaga at the time. Was the area called Tokugawa? Anyway. Jason Schreier. It's Jason Schreier. There was also this notable beat about what we're going to expect next from Guerrilla. And we have some interesting news to talk about from Guerrilla.
This remaster at length. I guess it was just seeing it actually come to fruition is what kicked it off again. But I feel like most people are like, okay, fine, whatever at this point, and just sort of moved on from it. Strange stuff.
Interesting. Guerrilla is in an interesting place because they're working on this Horizon Online game that I'm not sure how many people want that. And so they've got this remaster coming, and then the Lego game coming, and I part of me feels like I wonder how, like, what happens if neither of those hit, and it turns out there isn't a ton of interest in Horizon anymore. Are they still going to be doing the online game? I don't know. There are a lot of questions around their strategy and around that online game that I certainly have.
Yeah. So what Jason's basically saying is they're working on the online version of Horizon Zero Dawn. And the reason that I titled the stream this is because, well, first of all, I wanted to talk about Ghost of Yotei and why I think people are way off base with that one. I think that game looks hype. I'm hyped for that one. Absolutely. And hopefully the little history lesson I gave for like the whole first hour of the stream explains why I kind of understand a little bit about the concerns because of the Thomas Lockley correlation with Assassin's Creed Shadows. But at the same time, Assassin's Creed isn't like the historically accurate game. Ghosts of Yotei seems to be leaning more towards historical accuracy with a little bit of fun sprinkled out throughout. Sorry, everybody. Their cheeseburger Western style, and I'm more excited about that one. Anyway, so there's that drama going on, and I don't agree with that drama. I'll just say it plainly. And then there's the Horizon drama that is also going on with PlayStation. So they've had a really mixed bag of a week. They also quietly raised the price of Horizon Zero Dawn, the original game. So now on PS4, it's more expensive than it ever has been before. And if you're going to do that, you need to do it like 6 months out or something like that. You can't do it like right before the game comes out. And basically it was $15.99 on the 25th of December, and then they jacked it up to $34.99 on the official store right before they announced the remaster. And yeah, the remaster looks good. I believe the complete edition on like it's available on Steam right now. Apparently I have it for something I did for IGN at some point. And yeah, it was on PlayStation Plus Extra also. So I own the digital version, but yeah, it was, but they removed it. What did they remove, Clay? Oh, it was on PlayStation Plus Extra, but it was removed. Yeah. And then beyond that, so that drama all happened. And then the Ghosts of Yotei drama happened, which I think is the sort of situation where it's like when you're a hammer, everything's a nail, but whatever. Just, I think when the game comes out, it's going to be hype. Everything I've seen in the trailer has me super hype. And I am not worried about it at all. And then the other thing was I keep seeing people trying to tell me that the PS5 Pro is sold out. It's sold out. Everybody is absolutely not sold out. There's been a lot of nonsense in relation to this console. And man, PlayStation fanboys hate me. I am like their enemy numero uno, for some of them anyway. Like they're commenting on my IGN content like, oh, it's Destin covering PlayStation games. When you go look at all the PlayStation game content that I've done. Everything has been very positive about PlayStation games. I like PlayStation games, period. However, when it comes to business practices, not such a big fan. And apparently that's hard to think. So like, yeah, I could literally buy one right now. I could buy a second one. I'm already getting one for work, and I will be able to get a second one if I want to. So it is never sold out. Walmart's not sold out. Nobody's sold out. So like, I don't know why that's the thing at all. But yeah, I do think the PlayStation 5 Pro has some interesting content. Did I? Clay, did I? Yeah, I think the PlayStation 5 Pro is there is a graphical enhancement. There's definitely an improvement on that device, right? And then Blood Omen Legacy of Kain. Dino Crisis coming to PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium. That has me hype. If you missed that, I own Blood Omen Legacy of Kain. It's like a top-down thing. I think it's super cool that they managed to bring that back. I know people have been asking about Dino Crisis for a long time, and they're remastering, not remaking, remastering.
I stood with
Legacy of
Kain and
1
my
and 2.
brethren.
Oh, I am
Until
so excited.
I had the honor of surpassing my lord.
This is coming to everything, by the way. So, like, it's coming to PC and PlayStation.
For my transgression, I earned a new kind of reward.
I don't know about Xbox. I think it is. Gaming, I still can't believe you gave me $50. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Agony.
It looks really good, you guys. This is one of my favorite
The fate of this
series of
world
all
was
time.
preordained in an instant.
What madness is
And it's just the writing, the relationship between Raziel and Kain, and time travel, and him choosing to, you know, succumb to his fate at some point in the storyline. Like, it's so good. And I'm really excited for you guys to get to play it.
this?
Michael, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. You know, I thought about not doing, like, my voice was shot. I wasn't going to be able to do it. Thank you, Michael. I really appreciate it. But I was so excited to talk to you guys about the game and everything today that I was like, I'm just going to go do it.
Am I so
Oh, this, so let's talk about this for a second. I think the character looks good. I like how his eyes are glowy. I kind of like the muddier version of the character.
Am I so
So I kind of like this version more, and I'll explain why. Long story short, my imagination is doing more with the muddy texture garbage version of the character, right? So while the remake looks great, this one is making my, like, oh, is that his rib cage supposed to be his rib cage exposed? And oh, what's going on with his mouth? Is it like Two-Face in the series? And then when you remaster it, it's kind of like, oh, he's just like wearing a mask and stuff. Okay. This is cool though. This is cool. I mean, yeah, it's still cool, but it kind of like forces you not to use your imagination. And there's like, oh, this is what
I was not prepared for what lay beyond this
Oh, I remember that puzzle. I got stuck in that room for a bit.
threshold.
These are like the religious zealots trying to kill Razio. That's the big eyeball guy. Yeah, they did pretty good at this, I think. It's gonna be good, y'all. This is on everything. So Blood Omen Legacy of Kain, I believe, is only on PlayStation Extra. So you can just play that one. Legacy of Kain 1 and 2 remastered.
The
is coming
future
to
has
PC,
always been
Xbox and everything.
Don't
I got like 2
fight
more
it,
stories, guys.
Raziel.
Kids want me to play. Yeah. Twitter, not, yeah, it's on everything. So it's on, even on the PS4, Xbox, Switch, Steam, Epic Games. Yeah, it's on everything. There's a video of me like jamming out to the Legacy of Kain on Twitter somewhere. Yeah, there were 2 other things I wanted to cover off on today, and then I think my voice has just about had it. So it'll be a good time to take a little break. And you can see I'm a little sweaty and stuff because, yeah. A huge shout out to Michael for the 5 gifts of subs. Thank you so much. New California law inspired by Ubisoft and Sony requires retailers to warn consumers that the digital games they buy can be taken away at any time. Now, what's really interesting is there's actually, I want to say, a law being proposed in the UK, or at least not a law, but like a petition to keep games online in the UK. And in the US, they're like, okay, we need you to clearly label that your games are like logging into a service. And I think it needed to happen, honestly, because so often these games are being pulled offline. I think The Crew was halted not too long later, and a lot of people were like, hey, I don't like that. Like, I want to be able to access these games. And if I did XYZ, the don't kill games thing. Yeah. So I read a little bit about that, and that's kind of interesting. But yeah, California is actually passing a law that I like. And hope my taxes doesn't go up too much to get the law going. But yeah. And then on pure Xbox, rumor Microsoft to launch next gen with Series X successor and Xbox handheld is what they are hearing over on Windows Central. On the back of a recent interview discussion, Xbox's upcoming anniversary plans, outlet Windows Central believes that Microsoft will kick off next gen with at least an Xbox Series X Fallout and a Steam Deck-like handheld console. Now, the only reason this is like the last story is because I've already talked about this. We do know that they're bringing out a successor to the Xbox console, so there's no indication that they're not going to do that. The only question is, will they do the handheld or won't they? And I think they will do the handheld, and I think it's incredibly smart if they do a handheld. If they announce the handheld at like Game of the Year this year or whenever, then that would be interesting. So, as you can see here, Windows Central also ponders the thought that this next-gen launch should coincide with Xbox's 25th anniversary in fall of 2026. I think that would be interesting, and I think that would be a good time to do it. So launch it with your 25th anniversary, and I think that would be cool. But yeah, that is a slow news week. I watched all the TGS stuff. It was quiet. I didn't see the Death Stranding stuff yet, but like, man, TGS was very, very quiet this year. And all of that said, I am very excited about Ghost of Yotei, absolutely, and Legacy of Kain. And yeah, it needs to be OLED. I think it will be Kino Man Sky. But chat, I'm going to have to end it. That's about all I got in me today. I can feel my voice is giving out on me. I got to go read the books, go read more about 1600 Japan. And I am very excited to keep talking about games with you next week when hopefully I'm feeling a little bit better on the mend. Thank you so much for all the tips. By the way, I got a few names on the board today. A huge shout out to Gaming he gave me like $70. Thank you, Gaming. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much to the members. I'm going to have to update the list again because Aries dropped some members. Thank you, Aries. Thank you, Michael. I really, really appreciate the heck out of you guys. Yeah, I'm going to go, but I thank you. Just thank you so much. And I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now, everybody.